everybody? It's the Rob from Kiss 106 and 103gbfrocks.com. Here with my tag team partner in podcasting, the man they call Valeri, Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jer.
Good morning, Rob. Post to post universe. Ready to roll. Ready. I hope yesterday was okay.
It's worth noting you were at your best yesterday. Nice job, pal.
I was so nervous to say that last line.
Oh, the last line was killer. If you missed yesterday's episode, go back, and if you watch nothing else, watch the last 90 seconds.
And I will tell you this, and it kind of gives a spoiler for the review today. Our ending yesterday was better than the ending on SmackDown. It was timed much more appropriately. So we time our shows.
Oh, so I don't know anything that happened last night at all. I got zero of it.
Before we get into it, I really want an idea of the amount of wrestling you're behind on. Did you see NXT this past weekend?
No, but I intend on watching.
Okay. I mean, it's A+ stuff. It's really, really great stuff. Where AEW really delivered on 3 matches, and their pay-per-view Double or Nothing was really good for three matches. Really, were just worth talking about. Every single match on the NXT card was awesome.
Nice.
Every single one of them. So that was good.
Hey, real quick, what were the 3 matches on AEW? I know the Rhodes Brothers.
The Rhodes Brother, Omega, and Jericho, and I thought Young Bucks and Lucha Bros were great, even though Jim Cornette crapped all over it. What was
Cornette's thoughts?
I mean, he's clearly not impressed with the Young Bucks at all. He said, you got 2 white boys they don't look like they could beat their way out of a Dollar General. And he said, and they're trying to do lucha with the lucha guys, and they don't do American wrestling right, and they don't do lucha wrestling right, and it's just a lot of bumping and jumping, and everybody they did 17 hospitalization angles in 4 minutes, and nobody sold a goddamn thing. Like, it's just Cornette,
See,
you know?
That's one of the things. Like, I don't think Cornette's wrong. I also don't think he's 100% right. My biggest complaint about the Young Bucks, they're super duper talented, but a lot of their stuff comes off looking like choreographed gymnastics.
Well, and he was right about a lot of his review of the show, like the Battle Royal. He's like, you got this legless guy, and then this kid, and then this other one comes out, and he was like, on all this gaga, and you got this guy, mother effer. They might as well be jumping off the top of a building into a bucket full of AIDS-infected hypodermic needles, and he's stapling cigarette butts to people's heads, and he's like, and it was just a disgrace. I love Cornette, by the way.
I will just say sometimes, well, I do love Cornette, but sometimes he's right on the money.
Sometimes he's right. Lately, I do feel like he's right on the money, because I think that we need to see I want to see wrestling start going back to pro wrestling. I kind of want to see it where it was in the 70s, and like the revival type stuff, and like the Cody Dustin match, I think still could be match of the year, although NXT gave it a run for its money a couple times. We'll leave it at that.
I mean, I love seeing the really talented choreography, as long as it looks like they're in a believable fight to me.
Sure, and I thought Lucha Bros and Young Bucks, I'd never seen the Young Bucks match before. I was really impressed with it, but there were like 19 times, at least, I'm being conservative, 19 times in the Young Bucks match where there was a finisher done, and the match should have been over, and everybody was skinning the cat, and it was kind of ridiculous.
So let's move into SmackDown. Again, I apologize to everybody. Listen, instead of taking off this week, I just decided let's have Jerry catch me up.
Sure.
On the show.
And before we get to that, you did watch the one thing from Raw I wanted you to watch. You watched Firefly Funhouse.
You sent me a YouTube video, which was very convenient, so I was able to watch. And oh my, we are so cooking with oil now.
I mean, we are off to the races, aren't we?
Yes.
And the Vince McMahon character shows up, and I was like, oh, that's a surprise.
Man, I mean, do you think that puppet is going to appear on AEW?
I don't know what's good. Yeah, they're working the Firefly Funhouse.
I mean, I heard that puppet's going to be doing a shoot interview with Jon Moxley and everyone. It's going to be on Talk Is Jericho, and it's going to be like the most downloaded thing. And Vince is going to be super pissed.
Huskus the Pig Boy to AEW confirmed.
So
let's do the Muscle Man dance. All right, let's go to SmackDown now.
Yeah.
All right, so the show starts off, at least unlike Raw, the SmackDown show starts with the SmackDown champion. I mean, it starts with a guy from SmackDown. Here we go. Kofi Kingston comes on out. And he cuts a good promo, and then it brings out his opponent for this Friday in Country Redacted, Jeddah. I mean, like, can we just be serious? Dolph Ziggler. And so Kofi Kingston has a cool package that runs too. I don't want to undersell the fact it's a package of when he was in Ghana and pretty inspiring stuff, actually. And
I heard Kofi Kingston's package is fantastic.
The package was amazing. Not quite like Big E's, but it was still pretty good. And then Dolph Ziggler comes out with his own package and his own video hyping him up and why he's gotten screwed and why he should have the championship. And then, Kofi's got, look at my video. I've got a video. And Dolph comes out and goes, well, I have a video. And then Kofi's like, well, I'll see your video and I'm going to raise you another video. And he shows another video of Dolph Ziggler giving up and relinquishing the U.S. championship and saying, I've had it with you. And he was like, basically saying, this could have been you, Dolph. You say the championship could be you. It could have been you, but it isn't.
That's good.
That's good. Isn't. Because you weren't here. Because you quit. Blah, 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 blah.
Hey, that's insanely. That's very logical. I like that.
They're setting up the fight. I enjoy it. Then I get depressed because Xavier Woods in the ring with Kofi Kingston. Out comes Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, but not to cut a promo. They're in a tag match immediately, just kind of like crowbarred in to a tag match with Kofi and Xavier Woods. And that's where we're headed now. And they just come out for the match that they're going to have. It makes me sad because I feel like KO and Sami Zayn were doing some of the best stuff, and they got backburnered by no doing of Sami Zayn's. I mean, he just can't go to Saudi Arabia. He said the Saudis don't want him because of his Syrian descent.
Whoa. This is in Jeddah, Chair. This is that's why that's why this is so bad. This is Return of the
Jeddahs.
I get that joke.
You got it though.
I've never seen Star Wars, but I get the joke.
But this is why it's bad. And so Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens come out, and they're kind of backburnered. I mean, they had some real heat going, and they're not doing anything here. They have a match. It's a good match. It ends with Sami Zayn getting pinned clean. So KO and Sami Zayn it seems like they're getting punished for not going, and Kevin Owens is the only one that's doing it on his own accord.
I disagree. Well, here's what I will say. I bet you when this thing with Dolph is over, maybe even as soon as next week, I think you're going to see Kevin back in the spot he was. I think right now they're hot-shotting Jeddah.
Sure. That it does seem like that. And then
and just because they lost doesn't mean they're getting buried.
They lose, and then the match ends basically with Dolph Ziggler super kicking Kofi's head right off his shoulders. So he lays out him and Xavier Woods with super kicks. And that's where we're setting that match up going into not Saudi Arabia on Friday afternoon. By the way, I want to say that the match is Friday afternoon. It's at 2 p.m. Eastern. It's Friday afternoon. Okay? I want to keep saying it's Friday afternoon because maybe someone can let Goldberg know that it's Friday afternoon. That's when the fight is. That's when they're fighting.
Did something happen last night that I'm not getting?
He just kept, in his promo, he just kept talking about Friday night. Friday night, man, Friday night. And then the announcers just kept saying 2 p.m.
Goldberg's always good for stuff like that, man. Like, it's like you could just tell him, I don't know how else to explain, but he does stuff like that all the time.
To be fair, it will be nighttime in Jeddah when they fight, but it's not. Saying we're going to fight Friday night is leading people down the wrong path.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we'll get there. First, we need somebody from Raw to show up because it is SmackDown after all. So out comes Alexa Bliss. Because of all the things from Raw we wanted a moment of bliss.
Hey, I'm cool with that, to be honest with you.
I don't love the moment of bliss segments. I really don't. Because they always turn into everybody comes out and interrupts. It turns into the waterfall interview. I know a lot of them do, but this one seems to do it more than ever. And it didn't disappoint because so she brings out the SmackDown Women's Champ, who I don't even think was on the show last week, Bayley. So she's out. And then that brings out Carmella. I don't know why. And then that brings out Charlotte. So Charlotte's back from Raw. She's done messing around with Lacey Evans for the evening. And Charlotte announces that the women, since they don't say this, but since the women can't go to Saudi Arabia, they can't go to Jeddah, they need to start promoting the next pay-per-view for them.
Oh, so is that a thing?
Yeah, they're stomping grounds. Well, it's not a women's pay-per-view. It's a men and women's pay-per-view.
Oh, okay.
But they can't. The women have absolutely nothing to do with Super Showdown. So they're talking about stomping ground, which I think is taking the place of Backlash.
No, Backlash would have been April. Backlash
was
always the first pay-per-view after WrestleMania. Let's see. Probably Battleground.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Battleground. So stomping ground. So they still like to have ground.
Yeah, it's still.
We're no longer battling. We're stomping.
Well, listen. Remember the I don't know if it was the last Battleground or 2 Battlegrounds ago was like epically bad. Like that was the one we were comparing to the worst pay-per-view ever
of all time.
Yeah,
of all time.
I believe it was during the Orton and Jinder Mahal days.
Yeah, it was. I think the Punjabi prison match was in that.
That's what I think too.
So yeah, that was, and there was a flag match with John Cena and Rusev,
which is actually a high point of the show. Sadly,
I think it was match of the night.
Yeah, it could have been. So maybe,
which is a shame because anytime the John Cena's out there, I can't see anything.
That was 2 years ago, wasn't it?
I think it was.
Yeah, it was 17.
Still leaves a bad taste in your mouth. So it's now stomping ground, and the women are talking about who's going to take on Bayley. And so they have a number 1 contenders match, and they're having it now. And it's Alexa Bliss, who's on Raw, and Carmella and Charlotte. And it's next.
Okay.
And so they have it. And so fighting for the SmackDown Women's Championship at Stomping Ground against Bayley is Raw's Alexa Bliss.
Because of course.
Because wildcard, #wildcard, #brand split, #LOL.
It's so wild. You never know what's going to happen.
So wild. You never know what's going to go down. Because, listen, Charlotte, who's on SmackDown, doesn't have time, really, if we think about it, to fight for the SmackDown Women's Championship because she's too busy on Raw fighting for their stuff.
That's a very good point.
I mean, it really is. So because Carmella's out there, our truth is involved. The 24/7 has been floating around a little bit, and our truth has kind of had it. Our truth is like, this belt is ruining my life. He's like,
this is good.
It's ruining his life because he keeps winning it back, which I really like. Over the weekend, I don't know if you saw the video. Our truth was on the golf course, and Jinder Mahal showed up in his fighting trunks and pinned him on the golf course. But then got distracted, and our truth hit him with some golf clubs and got the belt back and took off.
See, that was on social media.
Yeah, that was on social media.
I'm okay with this.
Sure. So,
do they show highlights of this on TV?
They did. Yeah, absolutely did. They absolutely did. So then you have I'm using the notes here because it gets a little fuzzy. SmackDown had a hard time keeping my interest.
You certainly should be leaning on a run sheet.
So R-Truth is set up to have a match with Elias, and it's a proper match. It's a proper match for the championship, and it's a lumberjack match.
For the 24/7 championship.
For the 24/7 championship. What did I say? The Raw Women's Championship.
No, you just said the championship, and I.
Oh yeah, the ugly one, the 24/7, and that's going to be it.
Body shame that belt.
I'm going to body shame that belt.
I don't think it's that bad, but okay.
So Elias beat Truth by pinfall and became the new 24/7 champion. But then Truth ended up beating him again, and now Truth is still the 24/7 champion.
I don't know if you're laughing at it because you think it's bad, but I'm totally cool with this.
I think it's great that it's just he doesn't want it because now he doesn't want it. But
yeah,
he can't
that's even better.
He can't just give it up. And at some point he's gonna break Ric Flair's title. He's gonna break Ric Flair's championship record before Charlotte does.
And then I bet you he'll break CM Punk's.
By the way, for the first time ever, and I forgot to mention this from Raw on Monday, it was the first time that it's been actually acknowledged. And you've been right all along, and I've been right with you because I've agreed with you the whole time. Charlotte finally said it, and then they said it in the announce booth. It's a thing. She's more than halfway to breaking her dad's championship. She's not Ric Flair's daughter. She's more than halfway to breaking his 16-time record. So like they're hot-shotting her for sure to break that record.
What someone needs to do after this is look at time spent as champion, because it's not going to be a tenth of what her dad was.
Not even close. No, because he didn't. Listen, when Ric Flair had the belt for years at a time.
In those first few runs.
Especially when he was scumbag and then just getting out of the ring and, getting counted out, letting the four horsemen stand in front of him. Like, that was frustrating.
Well, also, Charlotte's last title run lasted like 10 minutes. Literally. Like, she won the title from Becky and then lost it to Bayley in the same match, essentially. That was her ninth. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. So now we need to have Shane McMahon on the show because we haven't seen Shane McMahon since last night. God, we got to get him out here. So Shane McMahon comes out, and of course he calls out Roman Reigns with the Revival by his side. So now the Revival flanking Shane McMahon, and it actually fits here. I kind of like the Revival in this role. They're like legit tough guy goons, and they can do this. He calls him out, and of course Roman comes out, and he's ticked from the night before when they left him laying. He's mad. They assaulted him. They beat the living crap out of him and picked him up, and Shane speared him, and now they're making fun of him and his family again. And Roman comes out, and the Revival meet him on the ramp. Superman punch! Down goes one of them. I always get them mixed up. Superman punch! Bang! Goes down the other one, and that's that. And then he sees Shane in the ring, and he's like, "I'm coming for you, Shane." And then Shane's standing there like, "Bring it! Bring it!"
Look at him go.
And then Roman's he's walking to the ring. "I'll get you. I'll get you." And Shane's like this, and Roman's like this, and Shane's like this, and Roman's like this, and then Roman gets to the ring, and boom! Boom! Claymore out of nowhere.
I want everyone to go back and watch the last, 60 seconds, and just imagine Jerry naked.
It'd be better shirtless, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, because at first it would have been the boobs bouncing, and then you just teabagged us.
That was my Claymore.
Like we were the microphone from the Dame Broadcasting Building.
I would put junk that a couple times.
The mic I had to talk into.
Me too.
I was a casualty of war in that one.
Fortunately, my balls were really sweaty back then.
Jerry had a feud with a different guy on a station I was on.
Yeah.
It would sometimes be very inappropriate with the microphone. And I'd have to watch him do it and know that later,
you were going on?
Later that night, I'd be hosting the night show in that microphone. We've lived a wild life.
I was a terrible person. So anyways, they embarrass Roman again. He gets Claymored out of his boots by Drew McIntyre. And that's pretty much that.
I love you, Jer. You're just fantastic.
I love you, pal. So Now we get an interview segment with Lars Sullivan in the ring.
Did he do one on Monday?
No, they said he was going to.
Okay, and didn't.
He came out and beat the hell out of the Luchas.
Yeah.
But he was going to explain his destructive actions. So he comes out, and I thought he cut a good promo. I'd never heard him talk before. I guess he kind of talks with a little bit of a lisp. And so that surprised me. He's relatively soft-spoken for being a disgusting freak of nature. They played on him being called freak all the time, talking about how his nature is to maim and to punish and to destroy. And then he did a nursery rhyme with not Charlie Caruso. I called the one he was talking to not Charlie Caruso because I don't know this one's name. But she's just a pretty girl with brown hair standing there holding the mic, scared to death.
Oh,
and he's like,
I think I know the one you're talking about. Is it like Fuentes?
Kara something? I don't know.
Some of them are really pretty.
He's like 3 blind mice. Look how they run. He already screws it up. Look how I rip their tails off. And look how I paint the blood all over the building with it. And look how I feast on the mice. And he's talking about the Luchas, but really he's talking about eating rodents. And he's getting what chanted out of the building. It's not going over really well in Laredo, Texas.
Man, I've said this before, and I'm doubling down. I feel like poor Lars is not long for the wrestling world.
He wasn't getting any heat.
You've heard about the tweets, right?
Yeah, I don't know how he's still on TV after those things.
I don't know exactly what he wrote or said or whatever, but he had some allegedly, I think, homophobic and racist tweets from way back in the day.
Yeah,
and that surfaced. But I really think even worse than that is his mental state. And
I mean, he bailed on them when they first called him up.
And this is a guy who, again, is getting the rocket ship treatment. At least he was at the beginning. Remember, his original spot was for John Cena at WrestleMania, and appears to be dropping balls left and right to the point where you could probably say he hasn't caught one yet. It's just not happening for him. In fact, I'll go ahead and spoil a little bit. I was going to maybe pick him to win the 50-man battle royal in Jeddah on Friday, but I don't think I will. I don't think I'm going to. He's got like go home heat. Yeah. Well,
like they're booing him in the weird spots. They're not listening to his promo. And to be honest, he cut a pretty good promo. He cut a better promo than half the dudes that get to cut promos on Raw.
Okay, I'll listen to it and let you know what I think.
It was okay. Then you have a match with Andrade and Apollo Crews.
Crews still hanging around?
Still hanging around. And Finn Balor comes out, so I think they're still working Finn Balor and Andrade in case we forgot, which I did.
Yeah, I did forget that. You could have told me, you could have asked me, who is Andrade feuding with? And I would have said, I don't know. And then you could have asked me who's Finn Balor feuding with, and I would have said, I don't know.
So now there's 12 minutes left in the show. It's 48. All right. It's 8:48 Central Time, 9:48 Eastern Time, and the big thing's coming up. Goldberg's next. Goldberg's coming. They've got 12 minutes. Goldberg's coming out.
It's a lot of Goldberg, pal.
Bah, 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 and the stuff, and then they go to the back, of course, because even when he's just cutting a promo, he's got to get fired up. I never understand that. You're getting fired up like you're going to fight somebody, but you're really just going to cut a promo. And he kicks the door open, and he comes out, and he's got the security team, and Goldberg comes out. It is so weird. I didn't realize it till last night. They must not have done away with the fireworks, that policy to get rid of fireworks, until after the last time we saw Goldberg.
That sounds like it could be right.
Yeah, because I don't remember ever seeing him come out to no pyro or smoke.
Oh, yeah, that's got to be weird.
It was really weird. He just kind of comes out and didn't know what to do. Because, he always stands there.
Yeah.
And his entrance is usually a little longer because he stands there and hails the smoke and then kick and cock like a big old roided up dragon. And none of it. He just kind of came out and steamrolled to the ring, like shook hands with a kid or whatever, and then like went to the ring. And it was just Goldberg with no smoke and no pyro. Now that'll be different in Jeddah because they have fireworks in Saudi Arabia.
Like every house show, they've got fireworks at Super Showdown.
We'll be lucky if they don't accidentally set off a ballistic missile in Saudi Arabia. Just maybe a nuke. They have nukes. Anyway. Anyways. He comes out, he gets in the ring, and he cuts just like a Goldberg promo. You know, it's a Goldberg promo. I thought Lars Sullivan cut a better promo, to be quite honest, but people were eating out of
that is super possible.
But people were eating out of the palm of Goldberg's hands. I'm no longer marking out for Goldberg. 1995 Jerry is so upset with me now because, like, I didn't care when The Undertaker showed up on Monday, and I didn't care when Goldberg came out last night. And 1990s, even the 1980s Jerry is just a shame to me because it's like, how are you not marking out for these guys anymore? I don't know, because they're grandpaps and they're not interesting anymore.
Yeah, this is not something that needs to be explained. We all understand.
So the promo, the gist of it is, because The Undertaker basically said, you know, last time you were here and face to face with the death and blah, 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 and you were hugging your kid, and this is going to be no place for children, and you'd better be the old Goldberg. And so Goldberg was basically saying,
this is going to be no place for children, no place for women, no place for people of Syrian descent, no place for people who are homosexual, no place for people with religious tattoos.
No place for members of the media. No place for anybody with a hacksaw. Wait, we have a place for them.
Jerry has always been rough on that poor journalist.
I'm not rough on the journalist. I'm rough on the government that killed him.
Fair enough.
Holy smokes. Also, the journalist was stupid for being there, you dummy. Like, I know it's not safe, and I've never criticized them. I digress. So he
has criticized them, by the way.
Goldberg comes out and says, "You're going to get the old Goldberg. You're going to get the one that was 173-0, and blah, 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 blah." And then, bong, lights. Are we going to get a face to face?
Undertaker was not teased, correct? Only Goldberg was.
Undertaker is Monday. Goldberg is Tuesday.
Cool.
They've never fought. They've never been face-to-face. This was not teased at all. Surprise gong, surprise lights. They come up, and The Undertaker is standing behind Goldberg. And Goldberg does the dumbest things you have. It's like Goldberg, okay, so I'm Goldberg. Undertaker's behind me. The lights are still blue. And you can see Goldberg going, like he knows he's behind him. He's not selling the fear of the Undertaker in any way. All right, you don't have to fall over afraid, but you need to sell that the Undertaker is like a real intimidating dude at some point.
100%, Jerry is right.
He turns around and he's just laughing at the Undertaker, and they're like face to face, you know, nose to forehead, really, because the Undertaker's got about a foot on him. And then it ends the perfect way it needs to. By the way, this started with 12 minutes left in the show. We still have 6 minutes left in the show. This was all very fast. And I think it got away from them because the bong and the lights go off again. And then they come back up and the Undertaker's gone. Well, he's under the ring, but he's gone. And Goldberg's like, ha, 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 ha. He's like, yeah, that's what you want? Ha, ha, all right. That's what you're going to get. He picks up the mic. He's like, that's what you want? Friday night? All right, that's what you're going to get. You know, you're next to rest in peace on Friday night. Which it's 2:00 on Friday afternoon, by the way. Drops the mic. 4 minutes left in the show. Now what do? Everybody was fast.
Okay, so what do?
They cut to the announcers who looked like they weren't ready for this.
That's what I would have done, by the way. That's what I was going to suggest.
And they start recapping the card.
That's what I would have done.
I mean, that's just what they do. That's not what they wanted. You can't tell me that they wanted the last 4 minutes of SmackDown to be a complete, entire review of the card. I've never had such a comprehensive list of a card leading into a preview show ever. So, like, they tell us every match, they hype up every match, they talk about it, they have the images, and then they actually ended SmackDown with a replay of what just happened, because that's how it was supposed to end.
Correct.
With the gong and everything. But they ended 4 minutes early. Like, they go. Listen, you can't plan a show around Goldberg. He was never the most professional guy in the ring.
That's why live is so much better, because of stuff like that.
Yeah, but the announcers did handle it well after they got their bearings. But you could tell that that wasn't on the script. Corey Graves was not ready to start telling me that Alexa Bliss is going to be, or I'm sorry, she's not allowed. He wasn't ready to talk about Dolph Ziggler and Kofi Kingston again.
Yeah, interesting. Well, Jarrett, you did another great job. I feel like I've watched the show. I will be ready for a predictions episode tomorrow. And
I know we'll talk about this more tomorrow. I just don't know how Undertaker and Goldberg are going to put on a match that isn't laughable.
Who says it's going to be? And I'll say this, that's tough to call, that match.
There are a lot of matches that are tough to call, because they basically they're just picking dudes from the Hall of Fame and putting them together. Like, I don't know what to pick. There's no storyline for Triple H and Randy Orton. What the hell are they going to do there? I don't know.
Yeah, that one's tough to call too. It's, and while I'll steer away from actually making those house show comparisons that you guys make, I'll say it does have a different booking philosophy than really a house show or a pay-per-view. It's tough. That really makes this element difficult for a lot of these matches to be called.
Well, it's because I kind of think, and this is just a guess or kind of my opinion. I don't know. I wonder what you think. I think that the WWE's kind of letting the Prince book it.
I don't know about that.
I'm sure if he has a favorite wrestler, that favorite wrestler wins that night.
I bet you if he really pulled someone important aside and said, I'd like to see this person win, I doubt either party really gives a turd.
You'd hope. You would hope.
This deal means so much to them. I mean, like, this is the kind of deal that's really ruining their image in a lot of the public in a lot of the public eye.
It's just gross.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think it's a good idea.
Oh, God.
What?
We ended 4 minutes early. Corey, run down the card, Corey.
Well, listen, I'll play the music, and I'll let people know that tomorrow. Like I said, it was. I apologize for not watching this week. It was
Get your hand out of Carmella and read the card.
All right, hey, I'm gonna definitely shut things down now. I love how you went with hand instead of just like. Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow. I will have predictions for you. Jerry and I will go through it, and we'll talk about what is sure to be another hot topic come next week. The show from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, Super Showdown. For myself and for my tag team partner, Jerry Valaire, who always has a way of ending the show on a low note.
I actually think in Saudi Arabia, if you steal stuff like bread or whatever, they do cut your hand off. I think that happens.